Good morning. How's everybody? Lovely to have you in today with Bert, Lucas, and myself, although Bert does not seem to be having a pleasant morning. It's unfortunate. Titans having the first game of their 2023 schedule released this AM on the NFL Network's Good Morning Football. And surprise, surprise, the Baltimore Ravens and the Tennessee Titans will be squaring off at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The one thing that Bert did not want to happen, the only thing that Bert cared about regarding the Titans schedule, is exactly the thing that came to pass. How's morale back there, bud?
I mean, I'm here. Like, what else am I supposed to do? I was going to quit, honestly, and Lucas talked me out of it, so. That's it. That's it. We are flat today.
He was
very flat.
Move.
I was going to move. I was going to move to London to get one home game.
Just for the game?
Just for the game. Just for the game, because I'm not allowed to have anything nice, apparently. You know? I slave away. I do all the work. I do all the job. And then I sit back, and then what do I get? I get to watch Big Ben from across the pond. I hope you guys go and do all the fun stuff, and you eat all the crumpets and all the fish and chips, and see all the bad teeth Englishmen. And what else is even cool over there? It's not even that cool of a place, if we're being honest. It's
Beans on toast.
There's a reason we left there. There's a reason that we're not London, America over here. You know what I mean? There's a reason that we all came over here, and it sure as hell wasn't their football.
Why are you mad at the United Kingdom?
I'm mad at everybody.
There is no reason for you to be taking that. You should be mad at the NFL.
Nope. Who's in charge over there now? Philip? Hate Philip.
He's mad at the monarchy.
Yeah, well, I'm mad at all of it.
Now, it turns out Philip's pretty easy to hate if you know anything about the monarchy, and the only reason I know anything is because I watch The Crown on Netflix.
Is Philip the king now?
Philip is now the king.
Well, we hate him.
It's not his fault.
It is his fault. What else? The Louvre?
That's in Paris.
Oh, what do they go use the bathroom in? The Louvre?
Oh, the Louvre?
Yeah, we don't like that either.
Not the place where the Mona Lisa exists. The water
she's
closet.
Fine. It's whatever.
He's got France is not.
Honestly,
not
you know what?
issue
No,
here.
Europe, all of it.
Wait, Charles is the king.
Oh, Charles. Well,
Charles is the king?
Don't like him either.
Wait, is Philip? I think Philip was.
Which one's Philip?
Philip was the one that was married to the previous queen. Okay, I don't know
What's
anything
the
about
old
the
joke?
monarchy.
Do you have Prince Philip in a can? Well, then you better let him out.
I think it's Prince Charles in a can.
Oh, okay. Okay, that would make sense. So now Prince Charles in a can is the king.
I think so. Yeah, at like 70, 70 something. Either way, this does not matter.
We don't like him.
Bert, you should be mad at the NFL. You and Titans fans today should be mad at the NFL because they just took the most important game on the Titans schedule and literally threw it overseas. They threw it away to Tottenham Hotspur. They threw it away at 8:30 a.m. Central Time. They literally got the most impactful and interesting game on the Tennessee Titans 2023 schedule, and they got it the hell out of the country. They deported it. They deported the Titans. That's the way that the schedule news hit me today. And also because people immediately started tweeting me about your wellness. People are concerned.
I woke up to multiple tweets saying I should be packing myself in your suitcase. I should be buying airplane tickets. I will not lower myself. If I'm not invited, I'm not going. I don't know if you guys ever watched the wrestling documentary. I can't remember what it's called. If I'm not booked, Terry, I'm not going to the show.
I understand. But I think the thing that upset Bert almost as much, maybe not as much, as the Ravens game not being played here because he was very excited to watch his favorite team play here locally in the place that he lives.
Don't do this.
Lucas, what was your question to me about the Titans scheduling situation now that they have officially the date, October the 15th, of the international series that they're a part of taking place?
Well, we'll know for sure tomorrow with the complete schedule release, but does that not mean that the Titans' bye week comes right after the London game?
It almost guarantees it.
Week 7 bye.
A Week 7 bye
Another
is
early bye, by the way.
99.9% likely at this stage.
Not a huge fan of the early buys.
No, nobody is. But that depends on how hurt you get early in the season. For them, it seemed to make a lot of sense because half their roster was done by like week 4. So the early bye last year wasn't that bad because the whole team was falling apart. And then, it didn't get much better. But I understand your point. The thing that upset Bert more was the question that Lucas asked me, which was when the bye week would be, because you've been trying to figure out the Titans schedule so you could figure out which weddings on your schedule you could duck out of this year.
Yes.
And so this week 7 bye would, in theory, allow you to attend one of the weddings that you were trying to get out of.
In theory.
And I told you, well, bud, I have a perfect solution for you. Do what I'm doing. Just stay overseas for the bye week. I'm fully planning on making this an international vacation the same way that I did last time we went over to London. You didn't go with me, of course. That was 2 jobs ago for me.
We didn't know each other.
In 2018, simpler times. None of us. The 3 of us were not in each other's lives in 2018.
Just anonymous strangers.
I can't understand what either of you said.
Just floating like leaves in the wind.
Simpler times.
Excellent.
It happened again.
I said stay in Europe. Let's make a show Euro trip. This is finally my opportunity to exact revenge on Robert and you for excluding me from activities while we are here in Nashville.
Shut up.
Bert, Lucas and I are going to Europe without you.
Euro trip.
For potentially 2 weeks.
You ever seen the movie Euro Trip?
I have.
That's going to be us. Going from London to Amsterdam to Rome.
I did it last time. I've got family in Spain. They drove down to meet me in Madrid. I flew to Madrid. I had a lovely week in Madrid.
Oh, did you?
I did.
Did you have a lovely weekend in Madrid getting mud baths and bathed by people in sweaty ass? God, I can't stand you guys because, listen, this is what you do. This is what you do. You put me in a corner and I feel like baby, and you guys are going to trounce around and stay in your hostels and eat nice little baked dishes and send me pictures back. Meanwhile, I'm going to be here talking with whatever dude comes in to fill in to talk about the Titans. He's not going to have to turn his mic on. I'm going to have to record all your live reads. Meantime, you guys are going to be skipping together, kissing French women, like wondering why their pits aren't shaved.
No, we won't, man.
And what does that leave me here to do? That leaves me here to wonder why my Ravens lost to the Titans in London because I wasn't there.
We don't need a hostel. I have a place to stay in northern Italy.
Oh,
my
lovely.
Yeah, my entire family's there.
No big deal.
I've got us covered.
It's a vineyard. Go eat some calamari.
There's a vineyard nearby.
It's the country's shaped like a boot. Ooh, so is Florida.
Hey.
You did not just compare Italy to Florida.
Florida is pretty much American Italy.
Oh, we were having a nice time.
He's not having a nice time.
I am not.
It is. It's going to be a great time. We're obviously going to be there, Lucas and myself, with Titans Radio and the whole.
Don't you have anything else to talk about?
No, I really don't. I have 3 hours to talk about how much fun we're going to have in Europe this fall.
I have never wished for the bubonic plague, but if there was ever a
We literally
renaissance
just
of
got
anything,
out one. Don't say that aloud, okay?
God,
We
wherever
literally
you stay, I hope there's rats and they're just. In all your suitcase, you pull out one of your silky smooth shirts to go to some underground vampire bar, and there's just rat holes all in it.
Where do you want to watch the Tennessee-Texas A&M game, which will be taking place Saturday before the Titans-Ravens game?
Well, we'll likely watch it at the same pub where 104.5 The Zone did their last trip to London, though I'm sure those conversations are things that have yet to be worked through. But there is American sports bars or bars that will play American sports for the transient individuals such as you and I.
Maybe you'll get hit by one of Milton's passes all the way over there. I don't know what you want me to say. I'm gonna have to like roll your house or something. Like I'm gonna.
What do you mean? You're gonna be the one cat sitting?
I know. I'm gonna have a key inside. I'm gonna upper deck you. You ever been upper decked before? You ever been upper decked before? Yeah, you're bringing out the bad side. You're bringing out the degenerate now. You want to play
I had
game?
the good side before.
Yeah, you had the good side.
He's not talking about the buses in London.
No,
with the upper
I'm not
deck.
talking
This is
about
a
those
very different-
double-decker buses y'all are going to be riding on, taking tourist pictures and whatnot.
Please don't ask him for specifics. I don't trust him to make good decisions on air today.
I don't blame you. Any day. Now, I'm a live wire. You have awakened a beast over here now. That for the rest of the year, I'm going to be upset.
But besides Robert, are Titans fans also upset about this? That they
very
do not
much
get
so.
to the Ravens game at home? Was that the most interesting home matchup?
I think because you've had the Bengals in the last couple of years, I think people are, I don't want to say they're over the Bengals. I think they'd love to beat the Bengals, but like, I don't think Titans and Bengals is as big a draw because one, it's not just like recent history. It's recent history compounded with a great AFC Central rivalry that people who it transcends generations, right? You've had really good competitive Titans-Ravens games in the last couple of years. Their last big run, right? They are the ones that knocked Lamar Jackson off as the number 1 overall seed at home with, the Metallica blaring, and that M&T Bank is a really, really cool stadium to see a game, especially a primetime game. For those of you who have not had the opportunity to take a road trip. But that and the standing on the logo thing, right? John Harbaugh versus Mike Vrabel, Malcolm Butler's chirping at Harbaugh, like this whole thing. Yeah. And that's recent history. So you've got that section of Titans fans who maybe knew or may have reinvigorated themselves because the team was good again. And it also brings back the people who remember the great rivalries of when the Titans and the Ravens were last at their greatest heights with Eddie and Steve and Ray Lewis and the whole situation. So it is the game that I think Titans fans would have circled the most. Not people coming in town to go to a Titans game because it's in Nashville.
Although I'm sure there are Baltimore fans that would have loved to make that trip.
Sure.
But yeah, Titans fans would have gotten up for that one in Nissan Stadium for sure. So what's the most high-profile home game now? It's between Bengals and Chargers, right? Because you have all the AFC South games.
Yeah, and they're both on a contract year, so it's not like one quarterback necessarily is of greater interest level than the other.
Falcons come to town. Panthers come to town. Bryce Young will be here, but it's got to be Chargers or Bengals.
It's the Chargers or the Bengals, again, because of the recent history with the Bengals. Like those. If you ask me if there was going to be another nationally televised game, because I really think they just stole the Titans' best opportunity for a nationally televised game and literally threw it across the ocean.
Well, their best nationally televised home game, yeah.
Yes. That is so. They may play another team. They may have another nationally televised game. We have no idea what the schedule is going to produce now that teams are no longer married, or rather, networks are no longer married to specific games. Games are essentially free agents, which really does harm to small market teams that networks don't want to put on TV, like the Titans.
Other than the AFC South road games, which are obvious, the Titans go to Cleveland, Pittsburgh, New Orleans, Tampa, and Miami.
Maybe Miami? Maybe, because the Dolphins are going to be, the Dolphins got the Black Friday game. Dolphins and Jets is the Black Friday game with Tua and now Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback there. We'll have more time to talk about it because I'm sure that Titans fans have mixed emotions about it. The London trip is a phenomenal one. It's a great experience if you haven't been able to go, but also there's a contingent of people who, for one reason or another, aren't going to be able to make that trip and are pissed because one of the best home games of the season just got taken away from them. We'll get to your phone calls on this coming up next. We'll also have Rhett Bryan of Titans Radio in studio to continue our prospect preview with Tyjae Spears, the running back of Tulane, ahead of rookie minicamp this weekend. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back to the show. What are you trying to sabotage this segment out of the gate back there? What's happening?
I was going to count you down. It was like muscle memory but I don't have to do that with you.
You never count me down.
I've never counted you down once.
That's the most. It's just why do things different? Just because Rhett Bryan's in studio,
You just thought it was time for Blaine and Mickey.
Well, no, he feels like he has to do a better and more professional job when it's more than just me in here.
Well, Blaine and Mickey is a more professional show, so I do a more professional job.
Shots across the bow, back and forth. Here we go.
Thank you for spending time with the
Night
less professional
Fever
show.
is playing underneath us there.
Indeed.
Little Night Fever from the Brothers Gibb.
So, will there be any fever, night or otherwise, around Titans fans for having one of their favorite rivalries shipped overseas, Rhett?
I've been listening to your show since you started today, and I certainly see the point that you're getting. And if you ask anyone my age or older that are Titans fans that have been there from day one, they would probably be disappointed. But there will be some that will make the journey. I mean, there'll be some that will do it. When they rolled out the news this morning, Jim White had a column and there was travel package links and the whole deal. But yeah, I think if you polled most Titans fans, the Ravens has been the most long-standing rival that is probably most hated between the two teams because, the Baltimore win in 19 in the divisional round was super sweet, and we've seen that go the opposite way for the Titans in multiple playoff appearances. So, I can certainly – but, when you looked at who their home opponents were, because that we knew it was going to come from a home game because it's the year the AFC has the 9-game home schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw the Ravens, you're like, that's probably it. But I wouldn't have been surprised if it was maybe Seattle or, something like that, just a little more exotic. But listen, that's one of the stories of the offseason in this deal with, if it wasn't Aaron Rodgers, and that got settled right before the week of the draft, and then Lamar got settled the night of the draft, the first round. That was one of the more compelling stories in this. And so, I mean, it's going to be a hell of a game for that far away from home. But that seems to be the theme in this. I mean, you look at the matchups that they rolled out today, and you're thinking about, because you think about people in Kansas City and Miami, especially Kansas City. Here's Tyreek Hill going to play against his old team for the first time, and it's not going to happen in Kansas City or even in Miami for that matter. It's going to happen in Germany. And so this is just a part of the NFL, in my opinion, broadening that footprint globally. Because, listen, we know German fans, they are rabid,
that was
crazy
so cool last year
for NFL football, man. I mean, they come out in droves. And listen, the English crowd, they are getting into it more and more and more, though you still see those fans still learning the intricacies of American football. Like, I still think about this. This is something we hadn't talked about. But with this game, Ryan Stonehouse is going to be a freaking rock star in London because they love anything with punting the ball and the trajectory. It's because what they normally, deal with in soccer. I mean, they're going to love him because he will boom it.
Absolute rocket launcher.
So that's something I'm interested to talk to him about and kind of get his thoughts about that because I bet he hadn't really thought about that a whole lot. Stoney's a good guy.
If you don't know that voice, you should. Obviously, he's Rhett Bryan, the executive producer of Titans Radio. You can also check out the OTP, the official Titans podcast, and all the great work that the Titans radio crew does at TennesseeTitans.com. The other international games, just because I didn't mention them off the top for people who hadn't seen them, Rhett's here to do the prospect preview with us that we're doing all week long. So the Falcons and the Jags will start things off in week 4 in London. The London games will then be Falcons and Jags and the Bills. So the Jaguars are just going to stay over there for 2 weeks.
Good. They can stay over there permanently for my part of it. Go ahead.
The Ravens and the Titans in week 6, and that will be the last of the London games. Then the international series will continue in weeks 9 and 10 with the Dolphins and the Chiefs, as Rhett mentioned, in Germany, and the Colts and the Patriots also in Germany at this point. So those are the 5 international games that are on the schedule. The rest of the schedule, for those of you who are interested or haven't seen anything out there yet, Thursday night, tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central Time, and that will be compelling. What is also compelling is this third-round pick that the Titans made in the draft. Tyjae Spears, the running back from Tulane. Rhett, I think anytime a running back is taken by this organization, especially with Derrick Henry on the roster, no matter what his contract situation is, people are going to be like, but why are we drafting somebody else who's going to take the ball from Derrick Henry? That's not something that I think it just doesn't necessarily compute for a lot of people out of the gate. But I think since then, since the fervor around the draft has died down and people have had more opportunity maybe to see Tyjae Spears who hadn't before, I think they understand that this player is somebody who can really, really contribute, even though there are some questions about his medical history.
Well, let's say this first of all. In the presser that followed the selection of Tyjae Spears on Friday night, and then the final presser after the draft was done on Saturday afternoon, what did Rand Carthon and Mike Vrabel mention both times?
3-down running back, and then he runs between the tackles.
Bingo, bango, bongo, which is exactly what current and modern day NFL football is being built around. And that is no fault or anything and knock at Derrick Henry. He's worked on that diligently every offseason, gotten better at it. He was never really asked to do that at Alabama much. And so we're talking about a different running back, obviously, in Tyjae Spears because he's, 5'11", 205. And look, injury concerns aside, this guy, he's got something special. I don't know exactly what it is, but he's got a really good personality, seems to be a great young man, and just he's gone through some adversity. Clearly, with the injuries, I think he's battled some depression in this and was working through that. He comes from a rough background in Ponchatoula, Louisiana, and I saw an interview with him recently. He said, "My goal is, I want to get my mom and dad out of the hood, and I want to better it for my family, and so my mom and dad don't have to work anymore." So it's, the classic American dream of a lot of these young men that come into the NFL.
Wanted to get out. That's a moment that was particularly poignant in his Zoom call that now that you bring it up, Rhett, wanted to get out and then specifically mentioned and not ever go back. So
Yes.
Whatever is in his background, some stuff that he's willing to disclose, some stuff I'm sure that's, buried in the depths of the back of his mind and stuff like that. But that's something that I think people can forget the humanity of the background of where these guys come from.
100%. And let me give you a quote from him in this. He said, "Just all my brothers had played, and my dad played." Talking about playing football. It was just something my dad did. It just put us in sports to get us out of street life. There's a lot of things going on in the neighborhood, so putting us in football was a way to show us something different, to show us that we ain't got to be a part of the streets. We'll be making something out of ourselves, end quote. So he clearly has seen some things that you can't unsee as a young man.
Right.
And by all accounts, now he's played in high school. He played a linebacker, and I think he played a couple other positions. But he actually started playing running back, loved playing running back. That's been his dream position that he fell in love with. He idolized Reggie Bush, obviously, because he was a New Orleans Saint. And when you look at his production, it's there. I mean, because everybody's like, "Well, Rhett, you love this guy, and he's got no ACL." And I'm like, well, hold on a second. In 2022, played in 14 games, 229 carries, 1,603 yards, 19 touchdowns to add to 22 receptions for 256 and 2 more. And this buddy of mine, he was like, "Yeah, but he doesn't have an ACL." I'm like, listen, Frank Gore didn't have an ACL. He's the third all-time leading rusher in the NFL. Now, I'm not saying he's Frank Gore, but go watch the Cotton Bowl against Southern Cal. He was a one-man gang. And he clearly can make people miss. That's something that's super important. That's why Bijan Robinson out of Texas was drafted so high to the Falcons that Thursday night of the draft a couple of weeks ago. But the production is there. I mean, in college, now listen, I know this is Tulane. He had 6.8 yards per carry.
I'm not being dismissive of Tulane after last season.
No, and they had a bad year the year before. In fact, there was a couple of bad years there. I think they went 2-10 the year before. But yeah, to do that and then win the Cotton Bowl, he was a big part of that. So, I really like the prospect and what his role is going forward. we're going to find out. That's a developing picture in this. But clearly, to me, in my opinion, when you have the back-to-back picks of Will Levis and then him, they're trying to line things up for the future, knowing the contractual status currently of Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry.
Yeah, and I think there's been, we try to talk through things with people and there's some stuff that obviously we don't have all the access to, all the information about how players are going to be deployed and things of that nature. But I think because Dontrell Hilliard had such a substantial role on this football team, and some of that due to injury, because Dontrell Hilliard at one point I think was the best pass catcher on this roster for a period of time.
Yeah.
You could make the argument that somebody who could run routes and understood spacing and landmarks on the field to be able to execute some of the routes that a lot of running backs can't. I think a lot of people looked at Spears and said, oh, okay, that's the Hilliard replacement. When in reality, that's not this guy's game. And I think I don't
think that's it either.
I don't think so at all. And I think that's a misconception that a lot of Titans fans might have about the players that they just drafted.
Because of size, frame, game acumen, and skill set. Yeah. No, it's easy to go draw that line, but I don't think that's the line that's drawn.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
No, I think his role is going to be, as Rand Carthon said, somebody who runs between the tackles and somebody who they consider to be a 3-down back. Now, so the medical history, it's like Skoronski and his arms, okay? If it didn't bother him last year in college football, where he had 229 attempts, 1,581 yards, as you mentioned, 6.8 yards per carry, had 19 damn touchdowns, Rhett.
Yeah.
If Skoronski's arms didn't prevent him from playing left tackle at a high level in arguably the second best conference in college football, and Spears' medical history didn't prevent him from being one of the most productive players at the running back position in college football, is that something that people should be holding against them before they've even had the opportunity to see them perform?
I think that it's being held against them unfairly so far because a couple things. This is not the Titans drafting Jackson Smith and Jigba from Ohio State, who I believe will be a very nice player in the league. Played in 3 games, he had 4 catches, soft tissue, had some issues. Year before, a dog.
Yeah.
1,600 yards. He had more receiving yards than Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson, who were, candidates for Rookie of the Year, and one of them ended up being Rookie of the Year. And Peter Skoronski, Michael Roos had a 1/4 inch shorter arms than Peter Skoronski. I think that worked out okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty good stuff. So if he's as good at his game with the hands and with the footwork and the stuff that you need in those things, I'm not worried about that. Clearly, first of all, that pick that night was by far the best thing left on their board. And it was as sure a pick as you can find in this draft. And you can argue that a couple other guys with different positions, but I mean, that was one of the ones you're like, yep, that works, go. And it's like Coach Mack was talking about a few weeks ago. He's like, is he a left tackle or is he a guard? The arms, he goes, he's good. Draft him and figure it out. He'll play somewhere on that line.
That's for training
10, 12 years. So, right. These things are to be sorted out. I'm just appreciative that they addressed stuff for the offensive line in addition to what that Rand and Mike Vrabel had done in free agency leading up to this, because I think the Jalen Duncan selection in round 6 is an excellent value there. Every prospect has something to work on when they get into this, but that dude is an athlete and he has excellent footwork to begin with. So, Tyjae Spears, he strikes me. There's something in there. There's a fire in him. Because I interviewed him at the Senior Bowl, and I'm like, he's just a different kind of cat. He's laid back, but there's a fire there. And you're like, well, Rhett, all these kids getting drafted. Well, not all of them work out. This guy's, I believe, going to work out. Because I asked him that day at the Senior Bowl, I was like, what do you want to do today? He goes, I want to do better than I did yesterday. I want to stack wins, stack days, I want to get consistent, but I want to get better before I get consistent, and then I want to figure out, how to. He's clearly driven, and clearly made an impression with his interactions with the Titans brass.
Rookie minicamp coming up this week. This week and into this weekend, it'll be made available to media on Saturday specifically.
Yep.
Rhett Bryan of Titans Radio is here with us, getting us ready for Titans rookie minicamp. What is there one thing? I mean, I'm sure there's a great many things that you're interested to get a look at, but understanding this is shorts and t-shirts time of year.
Yeah, it's
we're
the
not gonna
underwear Olympics 2.0 after the combine and the draft. Yes.
Sure. So from that standpoint, though, what entices you about this coming weekend?
Well, and clearly the two linemen, Tyjae Spears that we've been talking about. In fact, all the draft picks I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm looking forward to seeing these undrafteds that have been reported that obviously the team hasn't made official yet.
Mm-hmm.
But Caleb Murphy is a guy I mentioned to you a few months ago from Ferris State who was invited. He was one of the 3 defensive Division II football players invited to the combine.
Edge rusher,
Ferris State, 25 and a half sacks, led the NCAA with that, had 39 tackles for loss, 6'3", 254. I mean, there's clearly something there, and I think that's an interesting story going into this thing as we start ticking through OTA days and mandatory minicamp that leads into other things. So I've got my eyes on a few guys like that, especially some of those receivers that they have been reported out there that are undrafted. So I'm wondered about, I guess we're going to go into the bubble if the weather, because it's like a 60% chance of thunderstorms.
Sounds like
so
it might be a bubble day. And when last I saw the practice field a couple of weeks ago, that did not look necessarily
probably not an
ready
option
to
anyway. Okay, you're right. I was over there not terribly long before the draft, and I saw the same thing. So yeah, it's probably bubble. But I'm looking forward to it just to kind of see all these guys get out there and start to do their thing. And obviously, we'll have Coach Vrabel and select rookies at the podium. I would think that would be our first in-face conversation with Will Levis and probably Tyjae Spears and maybe, a couple of these other guys. So I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun.
Be good to get back in the swing of things. Rhett, always good to chop it up with you,
Thank you for having me on, sir. Enjoy the rest of your show.
At Rhett B. Tennessee, check out the official Titans podcast where Rhett and the Titans radio crew continue to produce great content throughout the offseason, of course, once the season begins. Get to your phone calls coming up next, 615-737-1045. And the Titans rookies have officially announced which numbers they're going to wear. We'll tell you what those are coming up next. Welcome back to the show. We'll do Lucas's SEC observations here momentarily. We've also got Titans rookie numbers just been made official. First to the phones. How about Chuck in Clarksville up first? Hey, Chuck.
Hey, Buck. Got a comment and a question.
Okay.
The comment is, if you and Lucas are going to Italy, you have to, if you got any hair left on your asset after that chip challenge Monday, you have to send Bert, y'all have to send Bert some kind of Italian cannoli or spaghetti or pizza while you're gone. Now, my question is, and it's a very important question, it's kind of a world question, will King Henry IX get an audience with King Charles III?
Do you think King Charles has any idea what's going on in American football at this point?
No.
Did you watch any of that, by the way, the coronation? It was on at 4 a.m. Central Time, so I was up and I turned it on. It was on, CNN and ABC and a bunch of other networks. Do people still care about the monarchy that way?
For some reason, yes.
But Charles does, I think, especially after the Jeffrey Epstein stuff with his brother and, all the awful things. People already don't like King Charles now because, if you cheat on Princess Di, you're forever the bad guy, especially with the way that her life was taken far too early at that point. Charles is not exactly the easiest person to come off as a, likable character.
It's not like anything else is on at 4 a.m., though. They don't have a lot of competition. A whole lot of infomercials and Girls Gone Wild ads, No, what are you going to watch?
I don't think those are still a thing. I think there's some very serious litigation around the Girls Gone Wild things.
I haven't been up at 4 a.m. in a long time.
Tyler in Nashville is next.
I just Girls Gone Wild ads. I just took a trip back to 1984.
Yeah, that's typically you never know what's going to come out of Bert's mouth. That's why we keep him in a place that I can't see.
Hey guys, with Skoronski, listen, if he can hold his water inside that line and make sure that he's got himself kind of taken care of with his strength, etc., wouldn't the shorter arms kind of hold down on holding calls? Isn't that what holding calls basically are when you extend those arms?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a good theory. By the way, Tyler, are you exercising right now? Are you on the treadmill talking to us? You sound out of breath.
I had to get on the treadmill. I was on hold too long, guys.
No. Okay, that's fine. He's like breathing hard between thoughts there. All right, thank you for the call, Tyler. That is an interesting concept, right? Would a shorter-armed offensive lineman be called less frequently for holds just because there's less arm for you to look like you're getting outside of the frame of the defensive lineman that you're I don't know. I mean, I think has that ever been discussed? Do shorter-armed offensive linemen get fewer holding penalties?
I mean, who are name some shorter-armed offensive linemen? Go on, start naming them.
The only one I can think. Bleep you.
Let's talk about SEC, baby. Let's talk about the SEC. Let's talk about Nick Saban and Josh Heupel in the SEC. Let's talk about SEC, baby. Let's talk about the SEC. Let's talk about Brian Kelly and Greg Sankey in the SEC. Let's talk about SEC.
Need to do a live version of that with Bert one day.
I don't want to do
can sing it.
I hate that so much, the way that you railroad me with that specifically.
Yesterday, we talked about who should be the favorite in the SEC West between Alabama and LSU. Today, we talk about SC West. Ooh, what was that? SC what? SEC West.
What you get.
Quarterback situations because it got a lot more interesting. Did you see what Auburn added via the transfer portal within the last week?
No, I'm sorry, I didn't.
Michigan State quarterback Peyton Thorne is an Auburn Tiger. 6'2", 210-pound quarterback, was the starter in East Lansing for the last 2 years. I like this move from Auburn. As TJ Finley hits the portal, they still have Robbie Ashford there. Hasn't shown enough as a starter. Hugh Freeze said he wanted to add to that room, and he does. Here was what Peyton Thorne did when he had a run game at his disposal at Michigan State in 2021 versus what he did when there was a complete absence of a run game in 2022. Buck, can you tell me Michigan State's running back in 2021?
wasn't it the same as the running back that was injured in 2022?
No, Kenneth Walker, who is now a Seattle Seahawk.
Okay. No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Michigan's running back.
Yes, in 2021, when Kenneth Walker was just tearing up the Big Ten, Peyton Thorne completed 60.4% of his passes, had over 3,000 yards passing, 27 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. He also rushed 25 times for 4 touchdowns. Michigan State went 11-2.
Okay.
In 2021. In 2022,
God, Kenneth Walker was such a fun college football
player. He was
player.
so awesome. Probably got robbed of a Heisman invite.
There's so many moments I can picture in the 2021 season, sitting in a hotel room after on like a Titans road trip or something like that, just having college football on in my hotel room and like stopping and staring at the television anytime Kenneth Walker had the ball. He's just such an explosive player.
I got that rushing statistic wrong. Thorne had rushed 82 times in 2021 for 181 yards and 4 touchdowns. Walker opened some things up for Thorne, even in the run game. In 2022, with the complete absence of a run game, Kenneth Walker playing for the Seahawks, Peyton Thorne completed 62.5% of his passes, 2,679 yards, went from 27 touchdowns to 19 touchdowns, and had 11 interceptions as Michigan State went 5-7, and he rushed 25 times for just 47 yards and a touchdown. Auburn, you may not think this off the top of your head because they just lost Tank Bigsby to the draft, but I think Auburn might have one of the best running back stables in the SEC this season, bringing back Jaquez Hunter, who rushed for 668 yards and 7 touchdowns last season, was also a threat in the passing game, and USF running back transfer Brian Batty, who was a 1,000-yard rusher on a terrible South Florida team last season. Auburn's ceiling may have gotten significantly higher with the addition of Peyton Thorne, and combined with that run game that he can lean on in 2023, suddenly makes the Tigers much more interesting in year one of the Hugh Freeze era under offensive coordinator Philip Montgomery, who will call the plays from what we're told. So here's every quarterback situation in the SEC West. Alabama, Tyler Buckner, ? With Ty Simpson and Jalen Milroe behind him.
Wait, are we doing that? Tyler Buckner?
I put a question mark.
I know, but right away?
I put a question mark. Auburn?
It's still him ahead of the two of them who have already been on the roster, even if he has a question mark.
They went through spring with Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson.
Yeah.
And Nick Saban said, let's go get Tyler Buckner, the guy who started a few games for Notre Dame last year. So I wrote Tyler Buckner, ? Auburn, Peyton Thorne. Arkansas brings back KJ Jefferson. LSU brings back Jaden Daniels. Texas A&M brings back Connor Wegman. Mississippi State brings back Will Rogers. And Missouri has a battle going on right now between returning starter Brady Cook, former 4-star prospect Sam Horn, and Miami transfer Jake Garcia. I'm going to look around, make sure nobody's watching. Does Alabama have the worst quarterback situation in the SEC West if Tyler Buckner starts?
That was such a long phrase for you to whisper into the microphone that way.
I mean, do they?
Why are you still whispering?
It's probably not worse than Missouri's. And that doesn't mean Alabama is going to be one of the worst teams in the SEC West, because that's just not going to happen.
We just don't know. We don't know anything about we know a little bit. We think we know a little bit about the quarterbacks. You could probably say that for a variety of different scenarios. But I think in terms of things that we always think we know heading into a college football season is that Alabama is going to come in equipped with the best talent at every position group. Now, obviously, that's not been the case, and it's not been the case for several years at this point because Georgia is recruiting at almost the same level as Alabama. Maybe not at its peak where Alabama's just getting all of the players all of the time, but we always tend to give Bama, hell, I did it yesterday, give Bama the benefit of the doubt. But I do think that the idea of just kind of slotting, I don't know. I think they are the most unknown, uncertain is the word that I would use. I don't know definitively if they have a lesser quarterback situation than anybody, but I mean, I would probably take LSU's quarterback situation. I don't know enough about the new Georgia quarterback to say definitively one way or the other. I don't pay attention to recruiting that way.
By the way, I just pulled a buck. I think we got to get Peyton here. You're rubbing off on me.
Why? What happened?
I replaced Ole Miss with Missouri in the SEC West. I just pulled a buck. I can't believe that happened. That is the worst brain fart I've ever had on this show.
Yes!
Me, SEC aficionado, Lucas Panzica, put Missouri in the SEC West, which geographically they are.
It's okay, buddy.
But
No.
It's okay.
Everybody take a step back. First and foremost, I need you as your punishment to tweet from my Twitter account a new poll, D-bag or no D-bag, person who refers to themselves as SEC aficionado. Bleep yourself.
You can do it.
I can't.
Ole Miss. Ole Miss. Where the argument still stands, where they bring in Spencer Sanders, the Oklahoma State transfer.
I'm not
Jackson
going to let you
Dart is
just
back.
glass it. No, you're not going to continue with your analysis. You don't know anything.
I'm owning up to this. I am owning up to this.
This is the great. You two watching me. This is my hot chip. This is my hot chip. It's not as painful. It's almost as painful, though. I can see it on your face. It makes you very uncomfortable. This is the whole reason you're here, because I don't know anything about the SEC or college football.
I know. That is like an all-time brain fart by me.
Yes. I keep my job for another day. 615-737-1045. So does Alabama have the most uncertain quarterback situation in the SEC? I think it's a fair question.
The answer is no, but it is one of the most uncertain quarterback situations. And Alabama has won championships with having like the 7th best quarterback in the entire SEC before. So it does not mean Alabama's not contending for anything this year. I think it would be wrong to jump to that, but it is interesting. And move Missouri to the West. What are we doing? Divisions are going away next year anyway.
This makes me so happy. You know what else makes me happy? The dumbest thing in sports this week. It's coming up next.
It is 11:02. Good morning from the Superbook.com Sports Desk. I'm Lucas Panzica. The NFL has announced the 2023 matchups that will take place in Europe, and the Tennessee Titans will face the Baltimore Ravens at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in Week 6, October 15th in London. Other London games include Falcons versus Jags Week 4, Jags versus Bills in Week 5, and the Dolphins and Chiefs will play in Frankfurt, Germany in Week 9. It'll be Colts and Patriots in Frankfurt Week 10. Also, the first ever Black Friday game in NFL history will be Jets and Dolphins November 24th. The remainder of the 2023 NFL schedule will come out tomorrow. Titans rookie numbers are official. From all 6 draft picks, Peter Skoronski will wear 77. Quarterback Will Levis wearing number 8, wide receiver Colton Dowell 14, Tyjae Spears 32, Jalen Duncan 79, and tight end Josh Wiley will wear number 81, his college number. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second hour, welcome in. Lovely to have you guys here. Bert and Lucas back there making it go. They're ready to take your phone calls because we've got things to give away in conjunction with one of our favorite times of the week. It's time for the dumbest thing in sports.
Let's be honest. You've already seen something this week that made you say,
What the is this?
That's bullshit.
What the hell? Give me some more now.
something so mind-numbingly idiotic that you just want to get it off your chest.
Dumber than a second coat of paint.
Some idiot.
You are really dumb. For real.
It's the dumbest thing in sports this week on the Buck Rising Show.
What's the dumbest thing in sports this week? 615-737-1045. Let us hear it. Lucas, what do they win if they give us the single dumbest thing in sports this week?
This week, we have a chance for you to win a pick a ticket in the Window Nation ticket window. Basically, you get to choose a pair of tickets to any one of the participating Concert Week shows. For more info on Concert Week, you can visit livenation.com. But some of the concerts listed, Shania Twain, Snoop Dogg, Fall Out Boy, Beck. There is a great lineup that you can literally scroll through and choose from, and you get 2 tickets to any of those shows if you are the winner.
Excellent.
What's the number?
615-737-1045. That's the number. What's the dumbest thing in sports this week? Mine's easy. Why hasn't Bob Huggins been fired yet? Did you see this latest reporting from Pete Thamel at ESPN? Did you see this morning, about an hour ago?
I did.
So, for those of you unfamiliar with the story, and we're going to play, can we play the audio? Did you bleep it?
I did bleep it.
Okay. So, West Virginia basketball coach Bob Huggins, he's expected to be back next season after going on a radio show in Cincinnati and just very calmly and openly uttering an anti-gay slur. The university's decision, they put out a statement. They said they are in the process of being completed as of Wednesday, and the details have yet to be finalized, but Huggins has agreed to $1 million salary reduction, a significant suspension, and sensitivity training. Get the bleep out of here. I want you to, Lucas is in the middle of fielding 1 million phone calls, so I'll give him a second to catch his breath. But actually, let's go ahead and hear this clip from Bob Huggins on a local radio station in Cincinnati.
Have you poached any Xavier guys to come to play for West Virginia?
Catholics don't do that.
No, we're above the fracas, aren't we? No problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I tell you what, any school that can throw rubber penises on the floor and then say they didn't do it, my God, they can get away with anything.
Rubber penis. Was this
I think that was at the crosstown shootout, wasn't it?
It was transgender night, wasn't it?
What?
Was that it?
It was a crosstown shootout. Yeah, no, what it was all those those Catholic I think.
All right.
They were envious they didn't have one.
Well, Steve, your comments about Bob Huggins. Is he the best?
He's the best.
The best ever.
All right. The thing that's getting the headlines is Bob Huggins, because obviously he just very comfortably said and then repeated an anti-gay slur on live air. And honestly, what is as bad as everything that's going on around that is the two idiots who are interviewing him laughing in the background, talking about, isn't he the best? What? I don't understand, one, how Bob Huggins still has a job today, because that cannot be allowed to continue. Somebody who fosters an environment like that cannot be allowed to continue in their role. There have to be repercussions, and they have to be more than $1 million fine for a person who's not really going to feel that. I think that is such a miscarriage of what should happen in a situation like this. And listen, I am not of the belief that one bad moment defines a person for their entire career, whether you want to call it things like cancel culture or whatever. I don't care about buzzwords. Like, one bad moment does not define an entire person's character or career, but there have to be repercussions for mistakes that are made. This was a horrible thing that Bob Huggins said on live air. The fact that he hasn't lost his job yet is the dumbest thing in sports this week.
And it's not like a cancel culture thing, right? Like, this isn't a tweet from 10 years ago. Like, he went on the air in a large city, the city where Xavier is located.
That's right.
And went after not just a religious group, but a whole other group of people as well. Like, that was insane to me. I could not believe what I was hearing on that clip.
And again, the hosts who are making transgender jokes and then saying, isn't he the best? Get the bleep out of here, you mouth breathers. I can't believe that hasn't gotten more traction and more discussion around it. I just assume most people didn't listen to the quote or didn't listen to the actual clip and just saw that Bob Huggins said a gay slur on the air.
Yeah, like it got picked up on a mic or something, right? Like
Bob Huggins' hot mic moment. No,
right, like
he said it and then repeated it.
On the radio.
On live radio.
Yeah, that's wild.
He's going to take a pay cut and miss some time. Bleep you. Get out of here. What's your dumbest thing in sports this week?
It should be me for putting Missouri in the SEC West on accident, for writing MISS in my notes, and then my dumb brain looking at that, and instead of saying Ole Miss or Mississippi, saying Missouri. But I'm going to shovel that off to Mike Greenberg, who I think is a fantastic broadcaster. But Mike Greenberg is my dumbest thing in sports this week, because Mike Greenberg, known New York Knicks fan, known New York sports fan in general.
Oh, I've heard this.
Went on Get Up, ESPN, the show that he hosts each and every morning on ESPN, and said that the Knicks are down 3-1 in the series against the Miami Heat because of the climate.
Particularly from Jalen, was how hard it is to go down to Miami and play this time of year. And I know people will immediately associate that with the nightlife and all that. But according to Jalen, there's more than that. There's also just the reality of the temperature change, the heat, the geography, being down there for 3 days. It sort of saps a little bit of your energy and your strength. We talk about that primarily in football. I know this is an indoor sport. But, I mean, the Knicks, whatever it is, Jimmy Butler is just has just destroyed them.
The climate.
That's right.
The reason why the Knicks are not being able to win in Miami right now. Like, yes, the Heat is preventing the Knicks from winning that series. The Miami Heat. No, like the basketball team. Not what's happening outside during an indoor sport.
If Jimmy Butler,
in an air-conditioned
I
building.
know we don't talk a lot of NBA around here because the vast majority of audience has told us that they don't care, and that's fine. But, like, if Jimmy Butler was doing the things that he's doing for Miami in New York, he would be treated as a second coming of Michael Jordan. It is so ridiculous how flat the Knicks have fallen because they were very excited to win a playoff series.
Funny you say that. You know, there's a conspiracy theory about that, right?
About what?
About Jimmy Butler?
No.
That he's you never seen this?
No.
Bert, have you seen this?
Yeah, he's supposed to be Michael Jordan's son.
Like long lost son.
Okay, I'm not doing that show.
But yes, the reason that the Knicks are losing the series is because Jimmy Butler, who may or may not be Michael Jordan's long-lost illegitimate son, is scoring over 26 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, and over 5 assists per game against the New York Knicks.
God. Bert, what's your dumbest thing in sports?
Yes.
You know what? I don't think... Okay, bud. You can. I'm not going to send you away. You can go back to the shadows where you've clearly been wallowing in pity all day.
Why couldn't it be here?
615-737-1045 is how you join the conversation for the opportunity to pick a pair of tickets to an upcoming Live Nation concert that Lucas has told you about. If you give us the dumbest thing in sports this week. How about Bruce in Ashland City up next?
Hey, guys. My dumbest thing in sports this week is that Sun owners doing that flop.
Oh, the Suns owner with Jokic.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, come on. Really, you're an owner. You know how those guys are going to react, and you're going to sit there and hold the ball?
I appreciate it, Bruce. It's a good one. Thank you for the call. I saw that Jokic and the new owner, and forgive me, I don't know the owner of the Suns, the new owner of the Suns' name.
Ishbia, right?
Ishbia. Either way, they had a funny exchange last night pregame before the Nuggets went on to blow out the Suns. In that game, Jokic came over and handed him a ball in pregame warmups and dapped him up. So ball went out of bounds. Jokic went to get it. The Suns owner is holding the ball and not letting Jokic have it. Jokic kind of reaches and snatches the ball away in a way that kind of brushes up against the owner and his buddies, who I guess are sitting courtside with him. Jokic gets a technical, and the owner of the Suns does not have any punishment or anything like that, but one of his buddies who kind of tapped Jokic on the arm or shoved Jokic on the arm got ejected from the arena itself. It was just you can't make yourself a part of the game, even if you own the thing that everybody else is there to watch and enjoy. You can't insert yourself that way if you're an owner.
Well, I think that they resolved it well, though. He came out, Matt Ishbia came out and said, okay, he should not be suspended. He should not be fined. It was misunderstanding. Jokic literally thought he was a fan. Yeah,
Jokic didn't know it was the Suns owner. It was a pretty odd moment occurring there that I saw the Nuggets coach afterwards said, I don't give a bleep who it was. They shouldn't be holding onto the ball and keeping it away from the players. We'll get more of your phone calls for the dumbest thing in sports this week coming up next. We'll also give you the Titans rookie numbers that officially been announced and talk about the best international matchups coming up next. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. What's the dumbest thing in sports this week? We'll get back to schedule stuff. Titans' London opponent officially announced. Ravens will be the team that they are quote-unquote hosting as the home team at Tottenham Hotspur. Let's go to Matt in White House up next. Hey, Matt.
Buck, real quick.
What?
Name the band.
For London Calling?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, The Clash.
Nice. Okay.
That I know.
Sure.
He saw it on the screen.
I saw it on the screen.
No, I know London Calling. I know The Clash because Bruce Springsteen covers it.
I'll take it.
Matt in White House is next. Hey, Matt.
Hey, good morning, guys. And good segue because the dumbest thing in sports this week is Jacksonville playing in London 2 weeks in a row. We would never see Tottenham Hotspur play in the U.S. 2 weeks in a row, let alone once. And it really doesn't benefit anybody here, especially Jags fans.
Are you a Jags fan, Matt?
I'm not. I mean, it'll benefit the Titans, I guess, if they're gone for 2 weeks, lose both, and come back unrested. But I don't see why anybody would want to play over there 2 weeks in a row.
I appreciate the call, Matt. This, did you bring this up to me this morning, one of you? I can't remember because I thought this made an appearance on
about the fact that the Jags are just staying in London
just
for 2 weeks.
staying in London and playing back-to-back London games.
Head on a swivel, Jacksonville fans, because if the NFL moves to England,
they're going to move the Jags.
You're the first one to go.
No, the Jags ownership, this is all by design. Shad Khan has been purposely playing games and volunteering them to play games in London for years at this point because he wants to be on the forefront of the NFL's European division. Now, NFL Europe isn't going to come back necessarily.
No.
But do you think that Roger Goodell and NFL ownership, if presented with even a fraction of the sports market share internationally, and they say all you have to do is send the Jags over a couple of times a year, and then eventually we'll establish that enough to move an entire division, we'll figure out the logistics afterwards. But this is a thing that's going to happen. I can't give you a timeline on it. I can't give you specific details as to whether that will include expansion franchises or teams that are in the U.S. I would be shocked if more than the Jags, was removed from the United States and sent to a European division. But a European division is going to happen in the NFL. I can't tell you if it's 5 years. I can't tell you if it's 20 years. I can't tell you if it's 50 years. They want it, though, and they're going to try and push this thing forward. Now, does it benefit the Titans? I don't know. The Jags are used to this. They don't care. They probably have the best setup of any team that's doing these international things. They're so used to it at this point. I was surprised to learn because they've played multiple London games in a season before, have they not?
Jacksonville? I don't know if they have. I know they're always there.
They are there every year, but I want to say, maybe not. Bert looked up for me yesterday or last night, divisional opponents having played in international games. That is something I thought the NFL might avoid because there would be so much, contention from the teams to not put divisional games on international, in international venues when divisional rivalries and divisional standings are on the line. But apparently 2019, that happened a couple of times. Houston and Jacksonville played overseas. And Bert, you said Carolina and Atlanta?
Carolina and Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
Do you think a division in London would work? And not even thinking about the logistical standpoint of things and the scheduling and the travel, just as far as just sticking and developing a true fan base. I really struggle with it.
Can they sell it on television? I think it's like when fans get upset at their teams for something or at the leagues for something, and they say, "Well, how can they do this to the customer that makes it all possible?" And it's always somebody like me who has to be strident and remind them, no, it's not necessarily you. You are part of it, but the television networks, the television contracts, that money is the thing that makes this the most powerful sports league in North America.
But so people are going to watch. People in America are going to watch.
If they get a deal with Sky Sports or some kind of, international European broadcast network, if the BBC says, yeah, we'll put NFL games on, I don't think it keeps it from having success. In fact, I think that's the thing that they need before they can get this thing off the ground. They don't need fan bases. That stuff will happen if they play football long enough.
But they need people to watch.
They need people to watch.
And I think it is instantly the third most popular sport at best.
Sure.
Maybe fourth.
Sure.
Behind rugby and cricket.
That's
and soccer.
Fine. If they can be the NHL of Europe for a little bit and gambling and, eventual, generational fandom being passed down can take root, as long as they can get a television contract, they'll do it.
Tennessee Berg on YouTube says he's talking about the players' union.
Sure, and that's the biggest logistical hurdle.
That it would take a lot for them to be down with that.
Correct. That is absolutely correct. And we brought up the issue. There are obvious logistical issues, least of which is like the taxation situation, contracts, the kinds of international currency that you would have to be dealing in, because then you're working with what, euros, English pounds,
Better get used to it,
and the American dollar. I'm saying it's going to happen. We just don't know when. Let's go to Ryan in Lebanon up next. Hey, Ryan.
What's going on, guys? Buck loves the show, man.
Thanks.
So my dumbest thing in sports this week is Ross Chastain hitting Noah Gragson in the face after the NASCAR race in Kansas. And the deal is it's not because of the punch. It's Noah pushing him, and Ross Chastain is telling him to stop 3 times. He didn't stop, so he got smacked in the face. That's my dumbest thing in sports.
Thank you for the call. Did you see the video of the fight?
Yes.
Of this come out this week?
I did.
NASCAR fights always make it to the top. Even if you don't know what's going on in the world of racing, like the fights in NASCAR are always very involved. There's always a lot of people around them because they always happen in like pit row.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It is.
And he got a good lick in. Like before people started to pull them apart, he got one good lick in with the right hook.
Yeah, apparently NASCAR has announced an official decision on punishments. Announced that there will be no penalties after Sunday's Celtic. They're like, yeah, more people are talking about NASCAR this week than last week. We'll take it. Yeah, but the instigation was, I'm watching the video now.
NASCAR's trying to get like a Drive to Survive show like F1 has. F1's got all sorts of off the track drama.
Oh, yeah.
NASCAR's like, let's get us a
NASCAR
little.
wants a piece of this.
Yeah, let's get a little Netflix show going.
Hell, it works for golf. That full swing thing is as invested in the individuals in golf as I've been non-Tiger Woods related.
It's worked for tennis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Breakpoint, the name of the show, right?
It's just mass distribution that way. I would be fascinated by the NASCAR thing without having like a legitimate background or interest in racing prior to that. I'm just interested in the people and also fights. Fights are fun. Keaton in Clarksville up next. Hey, Keaton.
What's up, guys? My dumbest thing in sports this week is longtime Oakland A's announcer Glenn Kuiper obviously referring to the Negro Baseball League Museum as the N-word Baseball League Museum on a live broadcast. And then his co-host, Dallas Braden, says nothing during the broadcast and then later comes out and says, well, the reason I said nothing is because one thing you guys have to understand about broadcasting is sometimes you miss stuff that other people say, like your co-host. And I don't know about you guys. Anytime I ever hear somebody say that word, code red alarm goes off in my head. I can't pay attention to anything other than the fact they just said that. And I think that's, you expect us to be super naive and think, oh, didn't hear him say the N-word on live television. Yeah, that's my dumbest thing in sports.
That's probably the winner, right? Have you seen the clip?
Yes. And he's been suspended indefinitely, I believe. Last I saw Glenn Kuiper. And he made his apology on air after the fact, saying it didn't come out the way he wanted to. Yeah. Obviously, he was talking about a trip to the Negro League Baseball Museum, and it did not come out that way.
Now, I'm not here to do this by degrees, okay? Because there is no excuse for what he did. But I will say this for people who were yelling at me earlier because I wanted Bob Huggins fired and he hasn't been. I will say that I'm more apt to accept a slip of the tongue situation than I am Bob Huggins saying the gay slur once and then coming back and putting a religious association on it and saying it again.
Like very intentionally.
For those people who are accusing me of cancel culture mindset or whatever, no. These things can be done by degrees. I'm not saying that it's okay what happened with this Oakland A's broadcaster. I'm saying that those two situations, while they're going to be compared to one another, they are not the same as far as I'm concerned. Now, maybe this is a word that he's used in his life before, and this is just something that that happened. I can't speak to what went down there specifically.
You believe him that he did not mean to say that word on the air, because why would anybody intentionally say that word knowing that they are on the air with a camera in their face? It was a slip of the tongue.
I'm more likely to believe that than I am to believe that Bob Huggins is actually sorry about what he said on Cincinnati radio.
I do believe it was a slip of the tongue. There's no way it wasn't a slip of the tongue, but it is the suspicious part of that is why that word was rattling around in your brain for it to become a slip of the tongue. For Huggins, it was very, very, very intentional and unapologetic. It is two different situations.
Eric in Nashville, that'll be the last dumbest thing in sports this week.
As you were talking about Jacksonville, I do believe they did a few years ago play 2 games in London. I don't remember the year, but I think that did happen. But, guys, let me say this. So last week I heard a story where Patrick Beverley talked to Russell Westbrook and claimed that Russell Westbrook told him if the Lakers win a championship, he wants a ring. I believe Patrick Beverley wants a ring as well. Otherwise, why would you put something like that out in the universe? So both guys are traded. The Lakers are remarkably better, and you want a ring? Give me a break. That's a participation trophy again, all over again. Guys, that's my dumbest thing in sports. Y'all take care, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks for the call, Eric. It's that asking for this, somebody being given a championship ring after being traded away after the fact, that's one thing. But asking for the ring after you've been traded away is a little different.
No. Yeah. All right, who's the winner?
I have to say Keaton for the A's broadcaster.
Glenn Kuiper. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Ramon is in the chat, and Ramon says of the A's broadcaster that wasn't his first slip of the tongue. And listen, I am not in a position, nor do I have any interest in trying to explain what it is that happened to Glenn Kuiper. I think that the actions that have been taken are correct, even if it was a slip of the tongue.
He hasn't been let go yet, to my knowledge.
Indefinitely suspended.
Yes.
I think that is a fireable offense by any stretch of the imagination, just as I think that what Bob Huggins did is a fireable offense, even though I don't necessarily know that those two situations are equitable. But listen, Ramon, it's like the Morgan Wallen thing, right? When Morgan Wallen, we talked about Morgan Wallen saying that the Titans are pissing him off lately, so he might become a Jags fan, and Bert made the joke that poking at the Titans is going to do him more harm than saying the N-word did in this part of the world. When Morgan Wallen said it, what was the first reaction? Well, that's somebody who's saying it in a way that he's very comfortable with it before. That's not the first time that it's happened. And so that, I think, is what Ramon is saying of Glenn Kuiper. And, I think those things are fair.
It's hard to imagine that word coming out on the air and you keeping that job.
No, you can't. You can't.
Yeah, slip of the tongue, regardless.
That doesn't mean I don't think that guy should work again. And Castellanos hits a line drive to center is working again. I mean, what's his name?
Tom Brenneman.
Tom Brenneman is working again. So, now you can argue the merits of people like that working again and people being willing to hire people like that. But like I said, I don't think one bad moment defines a person or their character, but I do think that you can tell a lot about the person and their background and what they say in their private time from those things that come to light. How Not To says, you got to be like Buck if you want to be a good person, just saying eat a spicy chip when you lose a bet, and showed his humility and brought him to his knees before God. Men, be like Buck.
No, you are mistaken, How Not To. That was not a moment of humility by Buck. That was a moment of clout. It was quite the opposite.
No, I agree with him.
You put your body on the line, which I'll give you credit for, but you put your body on the line for clout, not for humility.
I did it for me. That's the problem. I can make the nice part is I can spin those things like they're for you guys, but they're not. They're all for me. Do we care at all about the Titans rookie numbers that were announced? Will Levis is going to wear 8. That give you Marcus Mariota PTSD, or is it enough at this point? Have we moved on?
Blue, who my roommate, was ranting to me about this the other day, about what he had to wear 8. Blue was upset that Levis took 8. He's like, it's too soon. It's too soon. I'm like,
Blue was too soon?
Yeah, I was like, it's been 5 years, 6 years.
But Mariota, is Blue one of these Mariota people?
5 years.
Still.
Blue loved Mariota.
Okay.
It was one of those things that he just so desperately wanted him to be the guy, and he's still not over it. And he was upset. I do not blame Will Levis for taking 8. In Will Levis's mind, it makes sense. You're moving up a level, right? You were 7 in college, 7's taken. All right, I'll take a step up like I am in my career, and I'll be number 8. Do not hold it against this man because Marcus Mariota wore 8 5 years ago.
Did you guys ever call Mariota the Ocho?
Corey Davis did. Corey Davis. They didn't used to call him the Ocho, but they called him Ocho.
I think we need to give Levis the Ocho.
No, people keep trying to make this Billy Jeans thing happen.
Who are these people? Is it you? I think you're trying to make this Billy Jeans thing happen.
No, I swear to God. I mean, I can't pull up specific tweets right now because I'd have to scroll for a while to find them. But there's like people who have been tweeting me. Somebody DM'd me yesterday on Instagram asking if we would make Billy Jeans T-shirts for the show.
No.
That's a thing that happened. I'll pull it up.
If anything, Levi's needs to reach out to him.
Lang Dixon DM'd me on Instagram and said, if you haven't already thought of it, Will Levis T-shirts that say Billy Jeans. You're welcome.
If you ever try to send his name, in my phone, it always corrects to Levi's. So Levi's Jeans probably should hit him up.
No, I mean, did he have an NIL deal with Levi's Jeans? That seemed like a terrible missed opportunity. Either way, Levis is going to – I'll give you the full list. Jimmy Wyatt has tweeted them out. At TennesseeTitans.com. So Levis is going to wear 8. Skoronski will take over 77 after the team cut Taylor Lewan. For the rest of the rookie class, let's see. You've got Colton Dowell in 14. Who was previously 14? Khalif Raymond is the last 14 that I remember.
I think that's right.
32, Tyjae Spears. So that forever for me is David Fluellen. I'm sure there's other players that people associate with that number, but that's for me is Fluellen. 79, Jalen Duncan, which I think was Isaiah Wilson. Was Isaiah 79? That sounds right.
I don't know. He didn't play.
That's right. And then 81, Josh Wiley, the tight end.
His college number.
So those are the rookie numbers for the Titans. How Not To says Skoronski is little Lewan. I mean, he's not little. He's still a hulking individual. Taylor's like 6'7", though. He's not as tall or as physically long. They're built differently, but he's still a giant human being. Ocho de Mayo, says Jameson TV on YouTube. Ocho for Mariota was a great nickname. That I really liked. Like, Music City Malik, he needs to be a better football player for that nickname to hit. Dollywood Brown is something I really wanted to get off the ground for AJ, but then AJ didn't get the reference and was like, I don't want to be called this. I don't know what this means. I have no idea what this is. What are you making a face at me for?
Help me out. Dollywood Brown.
For AJ.
What does Dollywood have anything to do with AJ?
Well, he plays in Tennessee.
Oh, that's it?
You have Hollywood Brown and you have Dollywood Brown.
I see. Yeah, that's a stretch.
Well,
it's a reach by you.
I didn't think it was a reach.
Dollywood's like 3
Billy
hours.
Jeans is a reach. Dollywood Brown is a reach.
Dollywood is 3 hours away from
Your
here.
face lit up when we said Billy Jeans
I love
for Will
Billy
Levis.
Jeans. Dollywood is like a different ecosystem of the state of Tennessee. It might as well be a different state. And I love East Tennessee. I spent several years in East Tennessee.
No. There might as well be 3 separate countries between West, Middle, and East Tennessee.
Like Dollywood is very different, than the Smoky Mountains than Middle Tennessee. I think it's a reach.
You cannot be a proponent of Billy Jeans and then tell me that Dollywood Brown is a reach.
Poll question. What is more of a reach? Calling Will Levis Billy Jeans or A.J. Brown Dollywood?
The only way you're allowed to put up that poll question is if you put up that poll question earlier saying D-bag or no D-bag, person who refers to themselves as SEC aficionado. That better be at Buck Rising on Twitter.
I'm not going to put either of them.
What about instead of Billy Jeans, we do Willie Wranglers?
T.N. Berg says Willie Picks. Old Bill Picks. No, we don't like that. Will the Denim Diamond Levis, says Joshua. What is the Denim Diamond? That sounds intense. All right, more of your phone calls, 615-737-1045. Bert has been quiet. Bert has been sulking. Bert wants to pitch Lucas on an idea that we're going to display for the radio audience coming up next. So we're going to get back to schedule stuff and your phone calls here in just a second. Got more to talk about with the Titans and Ravens game officially being announced as the London opponent for Tennessee coming up on October the 15th, 8:30 a.m. Central Time is kickoff, or that at least is when it's scheduled for. But Bert had an idea that he wanted to bring on air. Now, this is something that's been workshopped precious little, especially given the emotional state that Bert is in today, where it's already tough for me to trust him in front of a microphone, which is ironic given how often we go to him on the microphone. But I'm going to allow this experiment to continue because I think this may result in something funny.
Good, because you don't have much of a choice. Lucas, you had some good goal calls this weekend, but as I was thinking about it, I think we should maybe come up with some goal calls for you on the show for you to do during the game.
So you're referencing, of course, the Nashville Soccer Club games that we carry here on 104.5 The Zone.
You got a hat trick this weekend.
Yeah, Hani Mukhtar. Remember our first? Was it our first ever show event in July 2021?
That sounds right.
When we took a bunch of listeners. Bert was doing something in North Carolina, but we took a bunch of listeners out in East Nashville. We had barbecue, and then we went to Nissan Stadium. And Hani Mukhtar had a hat trick against Chicago Fire, the fastest hat trick in MLS history in 6 minutes, 10th, 13th, and 16th minute, before a lot of the people that came to the game with us even found their seats.
Yeah.
We had a birthday message for you on the Jumbotron.
I didn't see it.
That you didn't see because
I probably left.
No,
I did.
You didn't leave. You were I don't know, you're talking to people in the
I was inside the
concourse.
concourse. I wasn't actually watching the game.
Yeah. So, but
worst.
anyway, that was the last time Chicago Fire came to Nashville, and then they visited Nashville again on Saturday.
Well, they got a hat trick in that game.
And in that first time, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, Hani had the fastest hat trick in MLS history. Thank you for listening to the show. Okay. And then Chicago came back last weekend, and Hani did it again. He scored a hat trick. It was a little more elongated. It wasn't 6 minutes, but 3-0 Nashville win. So you want to critique my goal calls?
If that would be okay. Yeah.
Can we do that? That sounds fun.
I
More things where we're picking at Lucas instead of me.
Okay.
I was going to do it, not you.
Are you ready?
Let's hear it.
Mukhtar makes his approach with the right foot. Hani Mukhtar rifles it in. In the dying moments of the first half, Hani Mukhtar shoots Nashville in front from the spot. It's goal number 4 of 2023, and it's a 1-0 Nashville lead before the break.
Oh, my God, you're good at that.
This is as self-involved as you're rubbing off on me as I've ever been on this show.
No, it's not so self-involved because
That's not that great?
I didn't like it.
Well, and the difference is, you don't like when people do things about you. I love it. It's what sustains me.
So
it sounded like you were doing like a Civil War speech. In the dying moments on the battlefield. You know, I just need a little more brevity.
Is this one any better? Hani Mukhtar from the spot to make it 2-0 and kill the game off. The MVP makes no mistake. It's buried into the left side netting. It's 2-0 Nashville in the 71st minute. And nobody puts out a Chicago Fire like the Music City maestro, Hani Mukhtar. 2 goals to his name, and the boys in gold lead 2-0.
Stop laughing.
I kind of like it.
A little cheese there.
Little cheese. He's making pop culture references. They may be dated, but look at him.
Okay, what would you have done differently?
I would have probably piled the cheese on top. I would have went can you play just the beginning again and then stop it?
Hani Mukhtar from the spot to make it 2-0 and kill the game off. The MVP makes no mistake.
Honey, I'm home. You know, that's what the people want.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's what the people want.
Honey, I'm home is how you would beat his Chicago Fire pun.
You don't like that?
Okay. All right. No.
There was a third one. We have a third
one.
Let's see if the third. Okay.
Left-footed try. No, it's saved. Mukhtar's there for the rebound. Can you say deja vu? Hani Mukhtar. It's something about the Chicago Fire coming to Music City. Another hat trick for the MVP against the visitors from the Windy City. And it's 3-0 Nashville in stoppage time.
Now, wait, is the Deja Vu a reference to the strip club, the famous strip club here in Nashville?
No, Buck. It's a reference to the last time Chicago was in Nashville when Hani Mukhtar had a hat trick.
I still can't get over that one time I wanted Deja Vu to sponsor the polls, and they immediately called us.
They tried.
They did try.
Now, see, I would have went with like a little, how do you say, honey, just shrunk the kids. You don't think that would have played well?
I liked Hani, I'm home better.
Honey, or just, what about, honey, shrunk the defense and scores a goal.
Hani, I shrunk the defense.
Yeah, I like that.
Honey, I shrunk the defense.
See, you should just get with me before every game, and I'll give you all the good stuff.
So what would you do if, I'm just looking at Nashville SC's roster, what would you do if Fafa Pico scored a goal?
No, I actually don't. No. This is not safe.
Fafa Pico scores a goal again. My, scored a goal in the game. Fafa Pico.
No, I don't like that.
What do you mean? It's like Mamma Mia.
How about
for on the spot? That's pretty good.
How about a fabulous goal? No, that's worse. That's worse.
Listen, you are going to get into dangerous territory where you accidentally make a mistake like that, or allegedly accidentally make a mistake.
Do not put me in the boat with that guy.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of fa there that I would be nervous about. Be careful.
Fafa Pico.
Anibal Godoy.
Godoy with the goods.
No, that's terrible. Dax McCarty scores a goal for the Nashville Soccer Club.
Dax a good goal.
What do you have him doing the Italian like?
Dax a good goal.
Jan Gregush.
Break out the Grey Goose.
We have another one.
Dan Lovitz finds the back of the net.
I like it. I love it.
Okay.
Don't they do that change?
I want some more offense.
Yeah, that might be it.
Okay, here's the thing. Here's what I want, all right, at all of this. Instead of Bert ghostwriting your goal calls, okay, I want you to start working things from the show into your goal calls. I want to actively tamper with your professional broadcasting career.
Don't jeopardize my career like
I
this.
think we need to pitch things to him.
Listen, all right? We are not responsible for any of your success.
I did shamelessly make a Taylor Swift reference on Saturday.
See, if you're willing to do that to try and get a cheap laugh, you can try and pay the audience of this radio show off. The thing that you are most associated with on a day-by-day basis.
Oh.
You should try and work lines from the radio show into the Nashville SC broadcast. You should try and have this show infiltrate the Nashville SC broadcast.
The show promo is already run during the broadcast. Is that not enough?
No, it's not, because you know what I'll do if you don't do it? I will go to Will Bowling. I will go to Will Bowling and I will say, Will, we are doing a thing. This will put you above Lucas in the echelon of Nashville SC broadcasters, because apparently there's like 17 of you.
Just us.
So instead, if you will not do it, I will go to your competition.
Well, speaking of Will Bowling, tonight, Geodis Park, Nashville Soccer Club hosting FC Dallas. It's the U.S. Open Cup round of 32. Will and Jaleel are doing NSC Backstage, the radio show from 8 to 9, live from Geodis Park. And then Will and I are doing the DC United game Saturday night at 7:30 on 104.5 The Zone.
A
So come
perfect
on out to Geodis
opportunity
Park tonight.
A perfect opportunity for you to work in a sub-car joke. I'm not saying it has to be like one of my lines. It doesn't have to be one of Bert's lines. It doesn't have to be one of the caller's lines. It can even be yours. It can be more self-involved than even we are deciding to make this. But I want things from the show worked into the Nashville SC broadcast. I demand it. 615-737-1045 is the number. We'll talk about what the NFL did with the schedule release that just completely and totally dismissed Titans fans coming up next.
It is 12:02. Good afternoon from the Superbook.com Sports Desk. I'm Lucas Panzica. The NFL has announced the 2023 matchups that will take place in Europe, and the Tennessee Titans will face the Baltimore Ravens at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in Week 6, October 15th in London. The remainder of the 2023 NFL schedule will come out tomorrow. Rookie numbers are now official for Titans newcomers. Looking at the 6 draft picks from the 2023 NFL Draft Hall, Peter Skoronski will wear 77. Quarterback Will Levis wearing number 8. 7th-round wide receiver Colton Dowell will wear number 14.
Who?
Tyjae Spears will wear 32. Jalen Duncan, 79. Josh Wiley, 81. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Ha! Oh, what a great start to the third hour. It's been a great week for me. Other than the hot chip challenge. Careful with that. What are you doing?
Get it out, idiot.
It was the second Colton Dowell.
It got caught up. I don't know. It wasn't coming out.
Bert, how long do you think he would let me go without just burying me for what it is that I would have done if I screwed up that way? How long?
If you would have went in that cadence, I would have already had that cut and we would have played it in the comeback.
Before you even finish the sentence.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Lucas's breaking news updates must hear, if for no other reason than to laugh at the ridiculousness that sometimes results. But today we have Titans news. We have Titans schedule news. We know who they're going to be playing. Bert is been frankly unpleasant. You've been unpleasant today.
Really?
I would say.
It hasn't been that bad. I haven't been making fun of you or making personal attacks at you in the break.
No, but that's better. That's general. That's normal. Today you are distraught. You're upset. You're angry.
Disgruntled.
All of the things, and frankly, you're flat. And I think that does a great disservice, not just to you, but to the show.
What do you say? What say you, Bert?
He's not wrong.
I laughed out loud this morning when Mike Kamiz, I hope I'm saying his name correctly, tweeted at us, said, "Have we had a wellness check on Bert since the Titans-Ravens game in London has been announced? Is he crying in the shower, eating another onion?" And the mental image of Bert sobbing in the shower while eating an onion
Very accurate.
was too funny.
The shower is my safe space.
Okay, so this is a thing. Before we get the reason that Bert is upset is because Bert is a Ravens fan. He wanted to be able to easily go to the Titans-Ravens game, and of course, the NFL has sent it across the pond.
He was looking forward to it, very much so.
Literally thrown it away. Did the NFL threw away a Titans game that could have been nationally televised, will be nationally televised, except it's at 8:30 in the morning. So Bert has been upset, and the visual of Bert eating an onion in the shower is not completely off base. Why, Bert? Why is that not completely off base?
Can you not stop kicking me while I'm down? You can't just let me be weird in private. You have to let me be weird in front of all of these people.
I do 3 hours of sports talk radio. I do an hour of streaming and 2 podcasts a week. I need content.
So last night I was talking to Buck and I told him, "Oh man, I just had a great shower. I just ate 2 mangoes in there, got my hair washed." And he goes, "What?" I said, "Yeah, I just washed my hair, took a shower." He goes, "No, the middle part." I ate 2 mangoes in there? Why are you eating fruit in the shower? And to that I said, why not? Because I don't know if you guys have ever eaten anything of those sorts. Peaches, mangoes, nectarines, any of those juicy fruits. What's the biggest problem?
It's messy.
You always look like a child eating them because there's juice dripping from your chin. There's little spots all over your shirt. So to alleviate that concern, I just started bringing the fruit into the shower with me. And you can eat it like a wild man. You just rip the skin off with your teeth and just plunge right into a mango. And the juice is dripping and you're washing off in the shower. And you get off clean and then you throw all the peels in the bathtub. Your girlfriend complains about them. Oh, my God. I'm going to be in so much trouble when I get home because there is the remnants of a mango.
You got to at least clean it up.
I meant to. I was going to come back and get it. But she goes to work before I do. So
I meant to.
He was giving pointers to Tyler Reese, who does afternoons, WKDF. We were talking to him yesterday, and I think he brought it up, right? He was talking about
eating a mango.
Eating a mango and how messy it is.
Yeah, but it sure is filling, and it just gets all over you.
Yeah, and Bert was like, oh, do I have the solution for you?
Eat them in the shower. And also, another trick, sometimes fruits aren't messy, but they're better in the shower. Frozen grapes, better in the shower. Bring you a little glass in there, fill them with frozen grapes. Frozen apples, not all the way frozen, just a little chilled. Eat them in the shower.
What percentage of your meals are being eaten in the shower?
Oh, I'm not pulling like spaghetti in there. Ooh, spaghetti. I like if your back's to the water. You know what I mean? Like no,
He's convincing himself.
You don't get the water in the spaghetti, but like you can still eat in there. Ribs.
Say the vowel at the end.
Ribs would be a good shower food. But you know what I mean? You're not washing all the good off. You're eating the good in the corner by yourself. You ever you know when you share a shower with somebody, like you'll be in the side kind of like washing while they have the water. Except for you're the only person in there, so you get to eat the good food in the back, and then you get in the water to wash off, and you get a double dip.
He has like a tray built into his shower wall.
Most people have
that's a great idea.
Like most people have like the walk-in showers, right? Like my shower in my bathroom is a walk-in shower. And I want to have them install a little bench in there because I think that would be nice, at some point. Bert is not installing a bench in his shower like most normal people, or like a little corner like area that you can sit or place your soaps or various shampoos or whatnot. Bert is asking for an actual like TV tray to be built into the side, like an airplane, like the back of an airplane seat. Bert wants a tray to be able to detach from the side of his shower so that he can place a plate on there and eat ribs and spaghetti. Is that what you said?
Yeah. What is that, man?
I was just.
I know you were just in New Jersey, but just say the vowel at the end.
Capricola.
Why do Italian Americans from New Jersey remove the vowel at the end of those words? Manicot. It's manicotti. I don't understand that. It drives me up a wall.
Well, these are your people, so you must take issue with them. I cannot fight on your behalf. Now, I've lived in New Jersey for a period of my life. I can, in fact, confirm.
Makes a lot of sense. It's the armpit of America.
What is that? What do you mean that makes a lot of sense?
I can see it oozing off of you, the New Jersey. I feel like you're also from like a belly button state, like Ohio or
Indiana.
Oh yeah, total belly button state. You are the fuzz bunny in the belly button of the United States.
I think I'm the least. I think you could not find a more polar opposite thing for me than belly button. Like the thing that that connotes to me dirty is belly button. Like people who don't regularly clean their belly buttons, it's like people that don't take care of their toes. If you have bad toes, I know everything I need to know about you.
That's why I never let you see my. What is bad toes?
Just take care of yourself.
What does that mean? Do I have to go down there with like a what is it? A pumice stone?
When's the last time you had a pedicure?
A pedicure?
Yeah. When's the last time?
I've never had a pedicure.
I mean, I've had them before. I like the tickle, but like I'm not paying $40 for somebody to cut my toenails and then make fun of me, and I can't even understand what they're saying.
I can't.
They're always making fun of my feet, Buck. I know that's what they're talking about.
Yeah, because you don't get them done enough.
How often are you supposed to go? Book me an appointment. Let me go with you. Do you get plus ones for these things?
I go every 2 weeks.
When's the 2 week up? When you going this week?
Well, actually, I need to talk to Slay because Slay and I talked about going together. Slay likes to get pedicures too.
When's the 2 week up?
Like your re-up. When's the re-up on the toesies?
I think I'm due next Thursday. In fact, that makes sense before the install.
Count me in.
Gonna have a me day.
It sounds like it's gonna be a we day.
Should we do this as a group? Now that doesn't mean I'm paying for you to get your toes done.
What? Come on, man! You're making all the money. Okay, look, I'll pay for it. But look, if you're going to say no to this, you can't ever complain to me and Lucas ever again that we don't invite you to anything. Because you talk about the most elaborate, fancy things. Oh, I'm going to go get my toes done and sip champagne. But then you're like, oh, I guess you guys can come. But if we do something...
because the activities that you are telling me that you're doing on the weekend is putting yourselves in grocery shopping carts and playing bumper cars. I would rather get a pedicure.
You could do that too. We could switch out. Need somebody to be the crew chief.
All right. I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed to, there has to be something that we can get out of you getting a pedicure. Like if we put it on social media.
If we sell 10 tickets, I will get my toes painted. 5 tickets, 1 ticket.
Toes painted?
1 ticket. If we sell 1 ticket, I will get my toes painted.
It has to be more
live with Greco Cell?
It has to be more than one.
I'll get every toe. I will get INSTALL How many letters is in that?
The install?
I'll get the install across all 10 toes.
There's an H in there somewhere.
It's silent.
Don't. I'm not in charge. If we sell 2 tickets.
No, stop. You're not in charge of telling people how many tickets we're going to sell.
3
I'm going
tickets.
to. No, stop it. If we sell 10 tickets by the end of the day, Bert will get his toes painted in a color of the audience's choosing. Yes?
Titans colors.
Titans colors. That's fine. Two-tone blue.
Two-tone blue.
Alternating blues.
Can I pay? I will pay. I will cover the cost of this.
I love that. I love that.
I
Yes.
will cover the cost of this.
1,000 times yes.
I will also pay the additional fee to have them bedazzle your big toe with a flaming thumbtack logo.
Yes.
Slay is encouraging this in the chat.
I will also commit to this.
You paint
the toes.
Paint the toes. No, it's done. If all you have to do is the same thing like the hot chip challenge, you have to buy a ticket to the install at 1045thezone.com.
Where?
Which, by the way,
where and when?
At the Hutton Hotel on May the 20th, Saturday, May the 20th, as you well know. Greg Cosell, the executive producer of NFL Films, is flying in specifically to have a tape study session with you guys and 250 of your closest friends at the Analog in the Hutton Hotel. The tickets are $25. If you tweet us a picture of your screenshotted receipt, we will then produce the content of Bert getting his toenails painted in two-tone blue and with a Fireball Flaming Thumbtack Titans logo on his big toe.
You guys know I would do it without you buying the tickets, but Buck is going to hold this to me now where I'm not going to be allowed to do it unless we sell 10 tickets.
The only way that I'm giving... No, it's because it's not for you. It's for the audience. Like, the only way that the audience gets the payoff is if they play the game. So we're going to play the game. Speaking of games being played, the Titans and the Ravens are being sent to London. Season ticket holders are upset. We'll talk about why the NFL has done this coming up next. Now, I feel like I can do something really good with this song, with Bert's Painted Toes in two-tone blue, and TikTok. This is the thing that TikTok was made for. This is the thing that I think we can get accomplished. We talked about not being able to, or me not being good at TikTok yesterday.
Yeah, this is not my department either.
I think we found the thing. I think Bert is perfect fodder for a TikTok audience. Bert and his toes.
So you're just going to use me.
Yeah.
And my toes.
That's correct. I mean, we could be more nefarious about it. People sell feet pictures on the internet all the time. In fact, I know a woman who once thought about selling not her feet pictures on Instagram for money.
Her mom's?
Her sister's.
Whoever you can get easy pics of, I feel like would be the market.
The Hour 3 podcast of this show is just going to be called Toes.
We need to take before and after pics too. By the way, if the toe thing happens, and then no, we don't shoot them out on Instagram. We put those behind a paywall with the article. You write the article, I supply the feed pics.
Okay, this is turning into a bit of a Ponzi scheme now. We are not trying to traffic your toes.
Lucas can do the play-by-play of me getting my toes done.
We're
a one-stop shop.
I honestly think that's a good idea because you two haven't committed to going to this thing.
To what thing?
To the install. The thing that everybody else is going to, and I keep doing things for, and neither of you have told me whether you're coming or not.
I actually can't make it.
Oh, yeah, me too. Wait.
I honestly would be there if I was not going home for the weekend.
Uh-huh.
I will come if I can ask Greg Cosell a question.
Oh, God.
Do like a fake Q&A.
I'll wear a mustache.
Someone in the crowd. Yes, you, sir, with the hair.
I'll be a plant. He'll never know it's me. Yes, Greg. What were you doing the night of? Just ask him some serious question. No, I can't give it away.
Do you think there'd be a worse pairing in terms of personality type than Greg and Bert?
We'd be like a buddy cop film, man. We'd be breaking down the whole draft.
Maybe that's what we should do. Maybe that would be a better idea for the MC. I won't do it. We'll just put Bert up there with Greg.
It would be install security cameras with Greg and Bert.
So for those of you who are unaware, before we talk about how the NFL has slighted Titans fans yet again in a way that I find to be erroneous, we are talking about Bert's toes for one specific reason. Bert has committed to allowing me to pay for him to get a pedicure and paint job if we sell 10 install live show tickets by the end of the day. The install live show, of course, featuring Greg Cosell of NFL Films, who is flying down here from NFL Films headquarters just to break down the Titans 2023 draft class with you. We have several things planned that I'm going to wait until next week to announce because it's exciting, and I think that's a great way to ramp it up before next Saturday's show. But Bert wanted to help with the cause in a way that did not cause him physical discomfort, although I will tell you that cheese grater they take to the back of your heel, That'll do things to you.
Bring it on. Mine's got like a stump on the end of it. Imagine if you were riding a bike, which I do because I got one half off. All I have to do to stop my bike is throw that bad boy into the ground, grind it down to a stump. That's how I get rid of my heel stuff.
That's disgusting. He's committed to painting his toenails two-tone blue, and I have agreed to cover the expense.
All right, what's your logic here on the NFL sliding Titans fans?
I think that taking the game that was most likely to be nationally televised on a broadcast network for Titans fans who live out of market, I think that the NFL just took that and literally threw it across the Atlantic Ocean. So get it out of here. Networks don't want it. Okay, we know where we'll put it. We'll put it on NFL Network at 8:30 in the morning.
So you think Titans-Ravens had the best shot to be a primetime matchup?
Not primetime, because I've made that mistake too. I keep using the word primetime when primetime specifically connotes 8 to 11 p.m. Nationally televised broadcasts of Titans games, which includes the NFL Network, which is not included in everybody's packages, cable packages or whatever, YouTube TV, whatever you're doing. But I think that the NFL, under the current construct of games being free agents for networks to acquire, said, okay, I have a great way to get rid of a Titans game on a nationally televised broadcast in ways that we're no longer obligated to put them on national TV. Let's throw it in London. Let's put the most compelling matchup of the Titans schedule in London next year. We'll sell more tickets at Tottenham Hotspur than we would at Nissan. We'll have better television optics around it. If they're not starting Will Levis by week 6, it'll give us a great way to get Ryan Tannehill out of the way. I think it's the most disrespectful thing that they could have done with the Titans schedule this year is take the best game and put it abroad. I think season ticket holders are not thrilled about this either. Now, Rhett Bryan brought this up in the 10 o'clock hour. In the way that the new expanded 17 regular season game schedule works, AFC and NFC rotate on an annual basis on which conference gets to host 9 home games versus which conference has to play 9 road games, because now it's an imbalanced schedule. It is the AFC's year to play 9 home games. As soon as I saw the eligibility for teams in a 4-year cycle who have not been to London in the last 4 years, and the Titans were a part of that list, and as soon as I saw the 9-game home schedule, I said, okay, London makes the most sense for them, and obviously they're going to London now. As soon as I saw the home opponents in 2020, I was talking about this yesterday in 2023. As soon as I saw the Ravens game, I said that's the game that makes the most sense for them to throw in London.
When did you say that?
Yesterday, literally yesterday on the radio.
You
show.
said that on the air yesterday. That you think
I
it's the
don't
Ravens
trust
game.
you to regurgitate things that I say because you don't listen to the radio show. We had several tweets this morning about me speaking this into existence in a way that was causing Bert active anxiety. And of course, now it's so. I think that for Titans fans who are upset about this, it's completely understandable. This is the best game historically for a Titans fan, right? It's not the Bengals, it's not the Chargers, even though those are the second and third, however you want to tier them, most compelling home games because of the opponent, because of the history, because of the quarterbacks. Those 2 games I think are most likely, if they are to get another nationally televised game, I think those 2 games are the most likely at this point because of Burrow and Herbert. And by the way, that doesn't mean that they won't have another nationally televised game. They may, if Jacksonville and Tennessee, or Tennessee and Indianapolis, or Tennessee is involved in some way, shape, or form at the end of the season in the AFC South race, then it's entirely possible that game will be moved into a nationally televised slot the way that Titans and Jags for the division for a play-in game was put on Saturday on ESPN last season.
When's the last time the Titans had an AFC South primetime game that was not flexed like last week of the season because it was some sort of play-in matchup? Because that's what happened with the Jags last year. It's what happened with the Colts Sunday Night Football at the end of 2018. Last week of the regular season, it was a win-and-in scenario between Titans and Colts. It was flexed to Sunday Night Football. It had to have been either the Jags on Thursday night, maybe in 19, or the Texans Monday night at some point. Maybe that was an 18, though.
I think it was a Colts at Titans game in the COVID season. I think that was a Thursday night football game.
Colts Titans in 2020?
Colts Titans in 2020 with Phillip Rivers. That was the punter that was driving for UPS or FedEx at the time because Brett Kern had like a fractured wrist. Because they had
you're right. It was Thursday Night Football.
I think that was a Thursday Night Football game.
Trevor Daniels, who you're thinking of,
Daniels.
Dixon native and punted at Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was that. I was there that game.
I don't think was a flex. That I think was
that was Thursday Night Football. Yeah,
right.
Joe Buck and Troy Aikman.
Beyond that, I think there was a Monday Night Football game between Jake Brisket and Marcus Mariota. I don't think it was a Vrabel season. I think it might have been a Malarkey. No, that was Mike's first year. That was 2018.
In 18, they also, I believe, played the Texans on Monday Night Football.
So they have been at least on Monday Night Football and Thursday Night Football, I think, every season that I've covered them.
Right. And they seem to play the Jags a lot on Thursday Night Football.
They had gotten the Jags almost exclusively on Thursday Night Football until the last couple of seasons.
Yes.
Then the Monday night games that they've had, a lot of times the NFL will put them on, like the Denver game, also in the COVID season. They'll put them on as the second game in the Monday Night Football Week 1 doubleheader, which is obviously going to draw a lesser number. So they put them on, in 2020, they put them on Monday Night Football at the second game of the doubleheader, which was like a 9:20 kick.
Yeah, in
awful,
Denver.
Awful. But I think for them, I really do think that might be at the initial schedule release. And this is, I'm not reporting anything. I don't have any inside information specific to the schedule. I'm just saying, like, my intuition based on the new rules tells me that it is likely that the Titans' only scheduled nationally televised game at the start, at the schedule release, will be the London game. I really think that's possible.
You don't think there's a single primetime game on the Titans schedule? Not one.
If you're letting networks pick, I don't think so.
I think there will be at least one. At least
Thursday
one.
Night Football is the most likely, right? An early Thursday Night Football game?
I'd be very surprised if there's not a single one.
I mean, there is the one, but it's London.
No, right. I'm
Are you
talking about
a night?
Thursday, Monday, or Sunday night.
We'll see. I would love to do primetime games. I enjoy them. I like having the lead up. I like the excitement. I like what it does to the city during the day of the game, and obviously that the local team is the conversation that everybody's having in the day leading up to that specific game, whether it's Thursday night or Monday night. I always enjoy that, and it's fun to cover primetime games. The Titans have that whole LED light system that they put into Nissan Stadium that they've used like 3 times for Titans games because they never play at night, or if they do, they play on the road. So I would like the atmosphere at Nissan Stadium specifically to have more primetime games. I don't know if fans really care about that. Maybe it makes it harder logistically to go to a Monday Night Football game than it does a Sunday at noon, right?
I think fans watching at home like it. Obviously, out-of-market fans like it, and I think season ticket holders like it. I mean, it's more tailgating time. It's usually a better environment. Under the lights, yeah, I can't think of a lot of dissenting opinions on why you would not enjoy primetime games, to have at least a couple sprinkled in.
So as we look at the opponents, and of course Thursday night, Titans Radio I know they've done schedule release shows before. They're not doing a schedule release show this year, are they? I should ask Rhett. I don't know that off the top of my head. Not to my knowledge, but if we have updated information on that, we'll tell you. If I feel like I would have heard a promo for something like that at this point.
Jameson on YouTube says the Thursday Jags game will happen. It always does.
It hasn't the last couple of seasons.
No, it hasn't. It hasn't, I believe, since 19.
So their Thursday Night Football games last year, Cowboys and Packers.
Yep.
The year previous, Colts. The 2 years previous, I think the Colts were the Thursday Night Football game.
Now, 2019, they lost to Gardner Minshew in Jacksonville.
Right, but I'm saying the last Thursday Night Football game with the Jags was that 19 Minshew game, was it not?
I believe so.
Okay. And that was against Marcus Mariota in week 3, and Adoree Jackson muffed a punt,
yes.
And it was over basically then. It was a terrible football game. Oh, my God. I don't even blame the NFL for putting that in week 3. That was ghastly. We couldn't even see that game from the press box because it was storming in Jacksonville that night, and their press box is a nightmare anyway. It leaks. But you needed literal windshield wipers on the press box windows to be able to see out there. God, I don't know how anybody sat in that weather during that game. It was nightmarish. 615-737-1045. As a Titans season ticket holder, does it bother you that the NFL has moved this game to London, this game specifically? Now, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I know there's plenty more season ticket holders, PSL owners, who are upset about things like the stadium survey that we're going to talk about in greater detail tomorrow, because I know that was the most recent stadium-related thing that had Titans fans up in arms, for lack of a better term. Looking at the home opponents for Tennessee, beyond what we have, but beyond what we know, and the Titans, again, the home team in London for this, Bengals, Chargers, Seahawks, Panthers, and Falcons. And that also would include the 3 AFC South recurring opponents, Texans, Colts, and Jags. I think in terms of, it depends on what the Texans and the Colts look like, right, this year? Because is it safe to say if you think that the Titans are going to get one more primetime game, at least one more primetime game, right? That's your contention?
Yes. Yeah. Besides the London game. I think they will get at least one Thursday, Sunday, or Monday night game.
Okay. Is it a safe assumption to feel like they would get the least amount of nationally televised broadcasts in their division? Of the Jags, Colts, and Texans, one quarterback who's a former first overall pick that has most recently won the division and a playoff game. The 2 other franchises who took quarterbacks at 2nd overall and 4th overall, and it looks like Richardson's going to start right away. And then the Titans, who we'll see what happens with Will Levis, but right now Ryan Tannehill is the starting quarterback.
Which of those 2, Stroud or Richardson, are more likely to start week 1?
Oh, Stroud. Although
Really?
Jim Irsay putting his name on Anthony Richardson is going to start for us. I mean, I think they're both all but guaranteed to start in week 1. I don't think there's a more likely scenario. To me, those two are starting in week 1.
There's not a scenario where they get into training camp and the Colts coaching staff is sitting there saying, this kid is not ready right now.
No,
not
because
even
Jim Irsay is going to say, how many tickets can I sell for week 1? Especially, I don't know if they're at home week 1. We'll find out tomorrow night. But I think of the 4 divisional AFC South teams that the Titans are the most likely to get the fewest amount of nationally televised games, given what I know network executives are going to look at. They're going to look at what's the most compelling storyline, what can we sell on TV, what can we sell more ad dollars around. And the young quarterbacks who are most likely to start right out the gate, it's just a better marketing package.
How about this? What about Titans playing Texans in Oilers uniforms? Does that get a primetime audience?
Just the uniforms?
Titans playing the Texans in the Oilers throwbacks that we know they're going to don this season.
That'd be fun.
It would be fun.
I could see it, especially if Amazon Prime had it, because they'd be running all kinds of highlights of Love You Blue, Oilers, and Warren Moon, and all of those historically great teams that are a part of this franchise's history going back to 1960. It's possible. I just think if you, like I said yesterday, if you gave me an over-under betting line of 0.5 nationally televised games without the London game, I would probably bet the under. I think I would still bet the under. I think most people would probably bet the over. It's feasible. I'm just looking at this as, okay, how many different ways can this break down and how many different ways does this impact them? I think would you not agree that they are one of the teams to most likely be impacted by this new setup?
Yeah.
In the network game free agency era.
Yeah, I think they're in there with the likes of, we mentioned the Falcons.
Talked about the Falcons and the Bucks yesterday without Tom Brady.
That's right.
Those are 3 franchises that I think kind of get hurt by this new policy. Reese in Kentucky is next. Hey, Reese.
Hey, I want to start this out with, I listen to every single game on 104.5 The Zone with Mike Keith and Coach Mack. I don't miss a play.
Nice.
But until we start winning the game, I really just prefer we play it Sunday at noon, and then I have the rest of my day to get everything ready, and I don't lose any sleep for the work week on Monday. We get relevant again, put us on Monday night, and I'll stay up late. But I'm not staying up late to watch us get demolished. What's your thoughts?
Well, we're there either way, bud. I gotta, between 14 and 12-hour workday on a game day either way.
He's not asking about you, Buck.
He just asked for our thoughts. What do you mean?
Yes, your thoughts on Titans fans. Not what he didn't ask, hey, Buck, what's your workday going to be like on game day?
Well, he's just how am I supposed to relate it to Titans fans? I can run it through the prism that my perspective. What do you mean?
You love to talk about your work days.
Well, it's because that's how I get through them. Talking about my work days is how I actually do 3 hours.
You love to talk about how much you hate the fact that you have to go to football games for a living.
No, I don't hate it. I'm just saying, I'm there either way. Now, I think that's what the NFL is gambling on, right? By putting the Titans and Ravens in London, that the Titans might not be as relevant as a team as they have been in the AFC landscape. So let's put them in London against the Ravens for this particular game. Trippin' Titan says, try to think about others. I mean, just try to think about others. So you've gone to games as a fan, though. This is a better question for you. I have not, so I can't answer this question.
I do think the late afternoon games are the sweet spot for a lot of people because you get that tailgating time. It's not that early rising kickoff, and you still get to go home and get a reasonable night's sleep and go to work the next day.
Yeah, because what time? Because what time do games usually end for a 3 o'clock or for a noon game? 2:30, 3 o'clock?
Yeah, around 3.
Okay. So, yeah, that's not my perspective. I can't speak to that. Lucas has a better...
Yeah, those 3:25 kickoffs, those home 3:25 kickoffs, I think are the sweet spot for a lot of people. Everybody loves primetime football.
Everybody does. Last call for phone call, 615-737-1045. That and polls next. A cool story in the NFL before we wrap up with some phone calls and update the polls. Do you remember seeing this thing in free agency about former Raiders tight end Foster Moreau? He went on a free agent visit.
Great news about Foster Moreau.
They had discovered on his initial free agent visit that he had a positive diagnosis for Hodgkin's lymphoma. But since then, Jeremy Fowler, to report this morning, tight end Foster Moreau and the Saints have agreed to terms on a 3-year, $12 million deal, including $8 million guaranteed and $3 million in incentives. So he is in his recovery phase at this point and plans to play in 2023.
Did you see the other bit of news this week regarding an AFC team in former Bills punter for 5 minutes, Matt Araiza?
I did see a headline that it had been discovered. Okay, so I want to can you give me the details? Because I don't want to misspeak. I know it was a very, very sensitive subject that involved a rape allegation.
Right. Obviously, it was a rape allegation that Matt Araiza got released from the Bills before he played a single game from the Bills, was drafted by them as a punter out of San Diego State. Adam Schefter yesterday reported, prosecutors said Matt Araiza was not present when an alleged gang rape of a minor occurred at an October 2021 party, according to witness testimony that prompted the San Diego DA to not press criminal charges against the former Bills punter. So Matt Araiza not present, according to prosecutors, at what obviously was a horrific situation.
God almighty. Has that been almost 2 years ago? Or was that last season?
No, that was last season. Yeah, that was last season,
what do you think?
Because that kind of started a mini punter carousel.
It's so hard in situations like this because the legal system can't even get it right. Anyway, that is positive news for Matt Araiza, who has been. That is a very, very difficult situation to navigate. I can't even imagine what his life has been like for the last year. All right, Cheeseburger, quickly before we do polls. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Buck. How y'all doing today?
Good, buddy. Hope you are too.
I am doing very well. It's always a joy listening to you because you make my day every day, listening to you on the radio every day. And also, you know what? With the Titans regular season schedule getting released tomorrow, I'm all for I like the late afternoon home games. Plus, I wouldn't mind getting a Monday night game here locally televised, or I wouldn't mind a Sunday night football game this year. I think they should throw that mix out. I like us playing the Ravens in London. It's going to make for a good atmosphere there, and hopefully the Titans get it done this year in London. You know what? I see maybe Will Levis starting right off the bat. I think they should give Will Levis a chance. Just throw him in there, start him right off the bat. Let's go, baby. Tighten up. Let's go. Hey, one thing. How about the Vanderbilt baseball boys last night beating Louisville in extra innings? Let's go, Vandy. They got Florida this weekend. Vanderbilt, they chomping at the bits. Let's go.
Thanks for the call, Cheeseburger. I appreciate it.
I was waiting for the rap.
I know you didn't get it. Cheeseburger wants all the primetime games, and he wants Will Levis to start right out of the gate. He buried the lead.
Yeah, Vandy scoring 4 runs in the 12th to beat Louisville last night.
Trippin' Titan says somebody spiked his cheeseburger. No, we love cheeseburger. Stop it. Play the polls.
Not now, Jenny. I'm on the radio. Buck Rising gave me a job. Said something about a poll update. Hope that wasn't at that club where you became a folk singer. Anyway, Buck Rising's producer and correspondent has the final poll update. I'm not a smart man, but I know who Lucas Panzica is.
They are presented by Two Rivers Ford, who sells below MSRP on any non-specialty new Ford. What is the dumbest thing in sports this week? Alan says mock NFL schedules. Is that a thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's basically what that Twitter account was doing all last year, and then just told everybody that they were lying and bleep you.
How do you feel about Titans versus Ravens being the London game? We all know how Robert Walsh feels. Titans fans actually would agree with Bert for the most part, to be honest. Darren says, I'd rather watch this game at Nissan Stadium instead of London.
I think most people agree. I'm excited to go to London, but, obviously I understand why Titans fans are not thrilled with the idea of that game being sent abroad.
Jessica says, I think it's crap to give up a home rivalry game. But Mary Claire says, I am pumped, and it has nothing to do with the wedding I'm trying to get out of.
She's got Lucas's mentality.
Yes, you and everybody else, Mary Claire. What is the best NFL matchup being played in Europe in 2023? We left out Jags Falcons, and we included the other 4. 55% say Dolphins versus Chiefs is the best one. 33% say Ravens Titans is the best. 11% go Jags Bills. Only 1% say Colts Patriots. Hey man, if Anthony Richardson is not good this year, which he's going to struggle at some point, Colts Patriots might be a terrible football game.
I think it could very well be a terrible football game either way, but I really think that the Chiefs and Dolphins is going to be the thing that everybody gravitates for obvious reasons.
How do you envision Tyjae Spears' role in 2023? The general says wide receiver 2.
He can block. That's good enough to be a wide receiver on this team.
Dylan says Hilliard, copy and paste.
That's not true. That's not going to happen. And I think that's a big misconception about what it is that Tyjae Spears is as a player.
Is the Tyjae Spears injury stuff overblown to you?
No. He doesn't have an ACL. He has arthritis. And his projection is somebody who's not going to make it to a second NFL contract. No, it's not underplayed.
But two things.
Overplayed.
Surely it's not as black and white as that. And secondly, let's say he only plays for 4 years and you get 4 solid years out of Tyjae Spears and then move on. Isn't that what a lot of teams do with running back contracts anyway?
Sure.
Like if you get 4 solid years out of Tyjae Spears, was it not worth the pick?
I think it's flawed to assume that you can get 4 solid years out of a player who we're talking about degenerative knee injury.
I get the concerns. I just feel like it's not that black and white, and they have a lot more information than we do.
Yes.
Maybe I'll eat my words, but I have a hard time thinking it's that simple.
I hope for his sake he plays on a second NFL contract and a third. I hope that does not derail his potential earnings. I just, you can't present to me a running back with knee injuries and me not be skeptical.
Those are the polls.
That's the show. Prime time tonight. We'll get into a little more about what we think is going to happen this weekend at rookie minicamp, so make sure you turn in for that with Bert and I. Radio show tomorrow at 10. We'll continue our prospect preview ahead of rookie minicamp. See you guys.